All right, so Donald Trump's recent success in Asia with trade deals with South Korea, investment deals with Japan, actually has a really long history. And social scientists, political scientists have for a long time studied the relationship between democracy and global trade. And this looks really different in the real world. In one case, you can look after World War II, and you have this very fascist, almost theocratic empire of Japan, who loses the Second World War, and then after becoming a democracy, appears to magically have success. And for other places like South Korea, where you have the Korean War, and then political tensions, not a lot of support or traction for decades. It's not really until the 1990s where their trade success story happens. And if you're a political scientist or social scientist, you say, well, geez, there's a few explanations. The first, and maybe most popular in the United States, is that when you're a democracy, there's no more barriers to international trade. And so if you can have capital come in and then have stuff go out and then capital comes back in, you're going to be successful. And this is exactly what we saw with Japan and South Korea in the first place. Other people will say, well, actually, if you look at sort of how it works, it doesn't really matter that the US stationed troops and stuff in Japan and that, there's a large war in South Korea, because what actually does it is international finance. You need that global trade layer, you need liberalism, but to some extent, you're really more looking at the international structures. And many people say, well, systems like BRICS or other smaller regional trade agreements become more important. So what's sort of weird about Donald Trump gallivanting around is there's always a question as to why you need the United States. And this isn't an America last mindset. It's just always a question as to what the United States actually competes for. And this gets really more into, I think, like more contemporary debates where people will say, who knows? Maybe it's that you can have a drone factory in Iran. You can have a resource-rich country that can impact global conflict. Other people say, well, you have to look at questions of sustainability, and you have to sort of wonder if the United States is capable of maintaining what they say are liberal values around the world, when it's, is it really that clear? And so, yeah, who knows? There's not really a conclusion or a point to the video. The point was that, these large trade deals have decades of context. And so think about it that way. That's the video.